Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Wednesday Lunch Live sketch. My name is Frank Summers. I thank you very much for joining me. This week, we're going to be drawing the Little Einsteins. Once upon a time, I was a traditional animator on Disney's Little Einsteins. We handled the four main characters, and Leo, Quincy, June, and Annie. And so today, I think I'd like to just spend some time and revisit that. If you're new to the live Wednesday Lunch Live sketch, we pick a topic, we do it for 25 minutes, try and get as far as we can with it. And that said, why don't I just hop into Photoshop, set my timer, pull up my timer, and away we go. The first thing I think I'd like to do too is just double check my audio. Okay, sounds like it's working pretty well. And away we go. So let me pick, I'm not sure if you guys can see that color. Oh, let's fix my opacity. So we'll start with Leo. Let's get a gesture in there. I think I'll have him holding his baton, his conductor baton. His head is a circle, or a sphere, if you'd like. And you can puff his chest out, make him kind of heroic. Plant his feet like so. A bit of a bow. Head can be slightly upturned. Head could probably be a little larger. It's been a while since I've drawn these guys. He's got his pants. And his feet. Something like this, if I remember correctly. And we'll have him holding the baton up, and this arm can just be straight out. So let's readjust here a little bit. This arm can be up around here. Here's a hand. Here's our baton. And maybe we can push the head a little larger, if I remember correctly. These guys had no necks, which often caused issues, especially when we were dealing with them in the seat belts and when they sat in rocket, because there was like no place for a seat belt to kind of logically connect to. So like oftentimes the seat belt, that's one of the things I can't stand. I always see the seat belts whenever I watch it back. The seat belts are always just kind of crawling along, you know what I mean? This lens is a little shorter than the screen left one, or squatter, I should say, more squat. His hair does something along the lines like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We have an S curve. Most people may not realize, but in the first season, the first couple episodes of the season, his hair had more spikes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. His hair had lots of spikes, and the problem was it was buzzing on TV. This could probably come out a little more. It was buzzing. It didn't look properly on like, especially back in the day, it was shot in standard definition, so there would be a lot of buzzing. So we reduced it to just 5 spikes. However, in certain head turns, you can still kind of see you can still see some vestiges of the old. Let's puff his chest out a little more. And his eyebrows, I could probably rotate his head back a little more. I mean, I've drawn Leo so many times. The thing is, we never really did their heads so much repeatedly. We redrew the bodies quite often. He has a stripe. And the arm comes down, chunky arms. The hands are chunky. Sausages is how we refer to them. Sausage fingers. And something like that. There we are. And let's take a better look here at his baton. His baton had a bit of a peculiar shape. And we really don't see much of it since he's holding it. It's looking a little chunky, so let's bend that like that. Let's get his shorts. This was kind of a V shape right there, and his legs and his shoes. So we can adjust this ear a little bit. Maybe let's pull the hairline up slightly more. Yeah, I remember being thinner. This line here, this space here was thinner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take the nose and project it just a bit more. All right. His glasses were thicker. And we can kind of project outside of his head a little bit. There we go. The glasses were something we often puppeted around. In other words, they were a solid piece of artwork that we would just manipulate in Flash. The show was done in Flash. The brows are kind of blocky. I'm not quite sure what happens on the interior of the ear. I have the files right here. Where is Leo? These are official. These are a file. His ears are smaller, and his nose is probably not projecting as much as I have it going on. And his head is definitely bigger. I can make the nose a little smaller. He's got a bit of a rotation on his head. It's okay. Get in with the hand here. Let's construct this hand a little better. There we go. And his stripe along his chest. Then he had the pockets, cargo pockets, which I understand are no longer in style. And then his feet, let me take another peek here. Yeah, so this is thicker. This line, and 1, 2, 3. And thicker soles. 1, 2, 3. Then he has some socks, which was just straight. Like that. There we go. Coming together a little better. Let's pull his ear down a little bit. Maybe his ear is a bit big. And this is all circular. I think that one like that. A little better. Maybe fix this a little bit. And there we go. There's Leo. It's coming together pretty well. This glowed, or glue? Glowed. There's Leo. So who else can we get? Let's see. How about we do clean the eyes up a little more. Let's get this cleaned up. You know, I did a whole coloring book too, and I don't know what ever happened to it. I don't think it ever was published. The team, the drawing team, was asked to draw some coloring book pages, and again, I don't know what ever happened to it. I never saw it. I never saw at least I never saw the book I did. I mean, maybe it was someplace else in some other part of the world or something. I don't know, but who can we do next? How about June? And she has a little cummerbund going on here. Her head could probably be a little bigger. This could probably go a little higher. One thing I never liked about June was dealing with her dress, because this was such a like an organic shape that like it crawled a lot when you were drawing. So like, that was often hard to deal with, keeping it from crawling on you. Two like this. And her nose, I think, went up. And another thing here was always hard. Like her dealing with her eyebrows along her hairline was often troublesome. So erase this. So eraser, let me pick a better eraser. There we are. I liked her hair. I did like her hair though. Dealing with June's hair was always kind of fun. It had fun shapes. And another little niggling thing that was hard to deal with June was her the laces on her ballet shoes. They were like little Z's. And redrawing them over and over again sometimes was kind of hard to deal with, especially on the budget of our show, which was we had to produce relatively quickly. I don't know if you saw this. I think you saw a little piece of her neck right there. Let's see. Chisel this out a little bit. Clean this up. Yeah, her brows were always hard because they got lost in her hairline. So that was like that was something that was kind of hard to deal with sometimes with June. Right. So there's June. Why don't we move her out of the way? Where can we put her? I don't even know. Put her over here. Save. How about we do Quincie? Do Quincie next. Let's try and keep them all the same size. So Quincie's head shape, something along the lines of this. And is much similar to June's dress. Quincie's hair often would become difficult to track because of the shape of it. So it was hard to keep it from crawling. All right, what do I want him to do? He can just be standing there. It's Quincie's little belly. There we go. And his shirt had a little divot right there. Pants had something along those lines. Sort of forgetting he had a little bit of a temple hair. Quincie's eyes were rounder, more rounded. Probably pull this across a little more. His eyes were more rounded. His mouth was similar to Leo's. The brim of his hat. And I don't recall if he had a little. He may have. Tell you what, let's put this arm on his akimbo, as we called it. Quincie to akimbo. And I kind of forget what Quincie's feet did. Let's look up Quincie's feet. Oops, there he was. His are similar to Leo's. A stripe, more or less. Let's see what we can pull out here really quickly. I think I'm running low on time here. Let me just double check. We've got 6 minutes left. That's enough time to finish him up. And he had that stripe. There we go. Oh. Kind of get these a little more rounded. Let's clean up this garbage. getting all kinds of messages. Let's clean up these eyes a little better. Move this out like so. And let's just move on. I think we're going to get to Annie next, and that'll probably about do it. Okay. Annie, thank you very much. No, your English is just fine. I can read everything you write. Thank you very much for hanging out. Appreciate you coming. So let's move on to Annie. Save. I don't have much room here. Let's make some room. Let's move Leo over a little bit. I don't have much room. What can I do here? It's all right. I think we can squeeze Annie in here someplace. Maybe I'll make my canvas a little bigger. Where are you? Canvas. Pixels. Let's make it taller. Let's make it 5,000. Cool. There we are. Now we got plenty of space. All right. Let's pull Leo down for a reference, just for size. Okay. And now this. Annie, what part of the world are you from? If you hear me. Get Annie in here. How can I? So what does she want to do? She was always played off as a little more sweet. So maybe but she's also very. Her head shape is similar to Quincie's, if I remember correctly. I could probably go a little bigger. I'm drawing a blank on what's going on with her. Annie. Okay, so she has like a little bit of a. She has this going on. I forgot, and then she has the seam, and then her pigtails. Her head is a little more footballish than what I have going on here, if I remember correctly. Here's an ear. Hair goes like this. It does something like this. And what does her nose do? I'm drawing a blank on her nose. Oh, yes. Her eyes are wider apart also. Circular still, but wider apart. And I probably need to drop the eye line a little bit. I am Spanish. I do not understand English very well, but my eyes enjoy your work. Thank you. Well, you type English very well. I think she has a bit of a hair coming on her side. I'm trying to not look at the reference too much. I'm trying to pull this out of my head. And I know she has butterflies, hair clips. So we can erase these. She has like the hint of butterfly hair clips around there someplace. And she has a sleeve. In season 1, her dress was green, and in season 2, we changed it to pink. And that's my time. I'm going to finish up Annie here. I think that had something to do with... I don't know why we changed it to pink, actually. I mean, I know it required some... We had to like change a lot of our files. I don't know. I think their research showed that people didn't respond to her in green for some reason. I don't know why. Green and blue, if I remember correctly. And then we eventually changed her to pink and light blue, like a powder blue. Let's just get her eyes in here. Slow up just a little bit. Build this cranium out a little more. There we go. And her eyelashes or something like that. I think I messed up June's eyelashes. I think they're a little more I think they're heavier. Let me take a peek. What's going on with June's eyelash? Oh yes, oh yes. And eyelashes were elements that we really didn't redraw over and over again. Sometimes we occasionally would redraw some eyes from different points of view or something. Quincie was always fun to draw. Annie was my least favorite. I don't know what it was about her head shape. I often had trouble with. Clean this eye up a little bit. They were all fun. They were all very easy to. When I say easy, they were because they were simple and basic to handle. So that made animating them relatively fun. You know, we couldn't get too cartoony with them, which was kind of stinky sometimes. Because we would have ideas for things, and they would often ask us to pull things back. One of the things I could not stand doing after a while, like when the show was coming to the end, I could not stand drawing them going into their poses, into their seating poses. Like I had done it so many times, I just couldn't draw them going into their seating pose anymore. Oh, I gotta finish her feet off. What kind of shoes? Oh, yeah, okay. Whew. It's coming back. It's coming back. Wait. Yeah, okay. And then socks. Her pocket originally was supposed to be like magic, like a magic pocket. They wanted to like pull things out of it. And I think all she really ever did was pull her mic out of it. I don't think she ever took anything else out of her pocket other than that. But they wanted to initially make it magic. Same thing with Leo. I think Leo was supposed to be able to have like some sort of pocket that he was going to pull all kinds of things out of, and that never came to fruition, obviously, in the show. And when I came on to the show, it was none of that magical type element. had existed anymore. I think that was just an early idea for some of the characters. That was scrapped. But it was a great show. It was a lot of fun. I miss working on it. I made a lot of friends on it, lifelong friends, and met my future wife there. I did not know that then, but she would eventually become my wife. We would get married. All right. Yeah, keep an eye out on some of the episodes, the earlier ones. Leo's hair suddenly gets lots of little zigzags in it. I think that is probably going to wrap it up for this episode. Clean up Leo's eyes a little more. Let's get rid of this gunk. Let's just clean him up. And I think I'm going to give this guy a post. We'll post him up. Let's fix her shoes. I liked animating some of her dance moves. That was fun. They were all fun. They all had different things about them that made them fun when you would handle one character over another. Zoom out. Whoops. And there they have it. There they are. Okay, guys. Well, I will put a link to the bottom of the description. I'll post the final artwork on my blog, and you guys can go check it out whenever the heck you want. I thank you very much for coming and joining me, everybody. It was a great time. It was a fun trip down memory lane for me. You can see a red subscribe button there. Please click that to keep up with all of my postings on YouTube. You can see some social links there for my Twitter, my Google+, my Tumblr, and yes, my good old blogger. I still update that as well. I try to update on a near daily basis, sketches, whatever comes my way. There's a Wednesday lunch live sketch, which this one may be the last one for a little while. My son is going to be coming home from school for the summertime, and that will impact my ability to be able to run this. The reason I do Wednesday lunch live sketch in the first place is because Wednesdays are just good. The lunch is just a good time for me to be able to do it. And for the next month, I have freelance, so we'll see if I can squeeze it maybe at nights during the summertime, but we'll see. There's also a link there for Toon Boom Harmony tutorials. Please click those if you're interested in Toon Boom at all, and maybe you'll learn something from there. I really appreciate you guys coming out. Aniom, take care. It was good seeing you again. Take care. And you guys too. Thank you for watching, and have a good one. Take care.